A woman and her daughter have come to me to commission a dress. Beautiful. This will be perfect for the annual ball. I compliment my client's choice with a smile and make a note of the fabrics for the dress. Silver chiffon over a satin navy ball gown. My fingers are already itching to get started. I'll need you to make another appointment for a fitting once I've got the basic design sewn up, and from there I can start adding the embellishments and finishing touches, I add. The woman and her daughter, a senior at a Clanner Academy, thanked me before leaving the boutique. Ever since the play, I've been fully booked. Business has never been better. It's been keeping me busy, and I'm glad for that. This way, I barely have time to think about the argument with Gray and how he still hasn't spoken to me. I only wish I were busy enough that I didn't think about him at all. Lost in thought, I finish up my notes and look over my appointments for tomorrow. With a smile, I see that I'm completely booked for the day once again. I've already started on half a dozen dresses for the same ball and a couple of suits. If things continue at this rate, I might have to look into hiring an assistant. The bell above the door jingles, and though it's almost closing time, I turn with a smile to greet another customer. Oh, it's just Sarah. Working hard or hardly working, huh? Sarah smirks as she teases me. I shake my head at her affectionately, a grin still curving my lips. I'll have you know that ever since the Academy play, I've been fully booked. I rest my hands on my hips and raise an eyebrow at her. So I'd say I'm working extremely hard. Well, good for you. Sarah beams at me, coming over to the counter. I haven't heard much from you since then. I thought you might have gone back to your hermit lifestyle, she teases. I was never a hermit, I protest. If you say so, she grins at me and I poke my tongue out at her in return. Real mature, I know. What are you doing here anyway? I ask her. I'm meeting Jed, she says as she inspects her fingernails absently. We're going out to a movie. I smile at her. Her and Jed seem to really be getting serious. I've never seen Sarah like this with anyone before. But why exactly here? I stress. If Sarah and Jed are going on a date, meeting up at my boutique seems like a strange way to get together. Well, I was thinking you and Gray could come with us, she adds as she looks up at me. I bite down on the bottom lip awkwardly. I don't think Gray will, but I'd love to come. You don't think I'll be a third wheel? It's not like I have any other plans, and it might be nice to get to know Jed better. He is dating my best friend after all. No way, it'll be fun. Sarah assures me we're going to see the new comedy. It looks hilarious. That's good. I definitely need a laugh after all this work, I say with a sigh. Barely a second passes before the front door opens again. I stand up straight and turn to greet. Never mind, it's only Jed. Hello? He greets us awkwardly as he joins the two of us at the court counter. Sarah watches him expectantly but says nothing. What? He asks when he finally cracks under her stare. She huffs as she punches herself up from the stool and tiptoes up to kiss him quickly. His face goes a few shades darker and I grin a little. I guess Jed isn't the biggest fan of PDA. Anyway, Hazel, how are you? He asks with a small smile after Sarah has sat down again. I'm great, thanks. And you? Can't complain, especially not with this one round. He ruffles Sarah's hair playfully, and she pouts up at him. After successfully fending him off, she says, Hazel is coming to the cinema with us, okay? Jed looks at me, his face brightening all of a sudden. Oh, that's perfect. I asked Gray to come too. He's meeting us there. My stomach drops in an instant, a small bolt of panic running through me. Oh, you know what? I think I'll just stay in. I've got a big day tomorrow, I say, and Sarah gives me an inquisitive look. Alright, what's going on? Nothing, I lie. I attempt to plaster a smile on my face, but she gives me a look that tells me she sees straight through it. My shoulders slump as I sigh. I've had enough of keeping this all to myself. It won't hurt for them to know what's going on between us. Maybe they can help somehow. Gray and I had an argument, I admit, blowing out a long breath. I don't bother telling them about my conversation with even one dilemma at a time. About? Sarah asks, quirking her head to the side. We almost kissed a couple of weeks ago and I got cold feet. He's probably mad about that. Sarah's eyes light up, but when Jed makes a small sound, we both turn to look at him. Doesn't sound like something he'd get mad about, he says with a shake of his head. Well, you must know something. Sarah prods him in the arm. He's your best friend. I don't know anything, I swear. He holds his hands up in front of himself innocently. Well, what do you think I should do? I ask him, hoping he might have an answer. Judd thinks for a second before he shrugs his shoulders casually. You could try talking to him again. He might have cooled off by now, he says. At the look of my face, which must be more distraught than I had meant for it to be, he gives me a comforting smile. Don't worry, Hazel. I don't think Gray could stay mad at you if he tried, he assures me with a lopsided grin. What's that supposed to mean? Sarah asks, wrinkling her nose at him. Wouldn't you like to know? Peep squeak. Jet teases her, and she punches him playfully in the arm. At least come see the movie with us, Sarah insists. You might get the chance to talk to him there, and if not, you already said you could do with a laugh anyway. I guess when she puts it that way, there's no reason for me to refuse. When we arrive at the cinema, Gray is already waiting inside. My stomach gets all bunched up into knots when I see his handsome face. I attempt to smile, but I don't get much from him in return. Great, still ignoring, I see. Let's get some snacks. Sarah says, right as I hear Jet asking Gray how he's doing. I wish I could hang back and hear the answer to that, but Sarah isn't giving me the option. We head to the candy bar, and the smell of fresh popcorn, hot dogs, and chocolate hits me all at once. I glance over at the options. I don't really feel hungry, but it might be nice to grab a snack. Just a small sweet popcorn, please, I tell the cashier. Then I decide I'll get something for Gray too. Maybe it'll help to sweeten him up a bite. Actually, give me a salty one as well. I pay for the tubs of popcorn and wait for Sarah to finish ordering her food. Then we join Jen and Gray together again. Here, choose, I say, offering both buckets to Gray. There's a slight pause, and a thin blonde eyebrow slowly rises to match his expression. He's hesitating. I give him a wry smile, hoping he'll take the peace offering. Then he leans over and grabs the salty popcorn bucket from my hands. Salty, huh? I say. Guess you're not into sweet. When the mood strikes, I'll nibble on something sweet, he says in this suggestive tone. But for now, salt it is. I feel like he's making some sort of comment about us and our situation at the moment. I keep quiet instead. The four of us head into the cinema and find our seats. I sit between Sarah and Gray, with Jet on Sarah's other side. My tub of popcorn sits on my lap, the smell of sweet popcorn floating up into my nostrils. I don't look at Gray, but I feel his presence like a weight on my chest. The air between us is thick with tension, and I wish I could just talk to him without interrupting the whole movie. The film finally starts, and when the theater darkens completely, I sink down further into my seat and try to enjoy myself. But my mind keeps wandering over to Gray, that comment about me freezing up. I guess he's right. I have kept him at a distance because I'm Angel. We've got a lot of unintended history together, and while some relationships may be better off with some skeletons left in the closet, I don't think that applies to our tangled pasts. I hurt him badly. He has to know before things between us get any more complicated. I have to find the right time to tell him. I breathe out a long sigh, satisfied with the conclusion. Now let's just hope it's not much easier said and done. Eventually, I start to relax a little more, even starting to giggle at the film a little. Sarah howls with laughter beside me, and that makes me laugh even more. I can't stop myself from sneaking a glance at Gray, wondering if he's having any fun at all. I turn to have my eyes meet with his, finding him already looking at me. His expression is indecipherable. Was he thinking about me too? The lights suddenly come on, signaling a short break in the middle of the movie. Quick bathroom break, and then more snacks, Sarah declares as she stands and shuffles past me. How much more can you eat? I tease her. She simply winks at me before disappearing down the aisle. Gray gets up and leaves too, leaving me alone with Jet, wait, wait a second, is he asleep? I giggle quietly to myself. I hope he doesn't snore. I decide I should probably use the bathroom now rather than regret it later. Entering the bathroom, I come face to face with Gray. Wait, what? He looks towards the door right as he puts his hands under the stream of water from the tap, and I realize I stepped right into the wrong bathroom. His eyebrows shoot up in surprise, and he pulls back, splashing water from the tap all over the front of his pants. He curses out loud as he looks down at himself in horror. A laugh escapes me before I slap a hand over my mouth to stop it, and Gray gives me a dry look. What are you doing here? Look what you've done, he says in frustration at the stain. Quickly, he grabs a couple of paper towels to try and dry himself off. You think that's my fault? I say, still laughing. You should have told one of the adults earlier that you were about to soil yourself. Very funny, he drawls, though I see the corners of his lips twitching. Alright, hilarity aside, you probably shouldn't go out there walking around like that, I giggle. You think? Gray says, and this time he's definitely holding back his laughter. This isn't working. He throws the paper towels in the trash and sighs. I look between us. I didn't bring a jacket, and Gray is only wearing a shirt. Looking around the room, I search for another option. Hey, you could always blow me to dry me off, he says with a wink. Might take a while, but what other option do we have? I know he's making a joke, but when I see the hand dryers on the opposite wall, an idea suddenly hits me. Quick, go into the stall and take off your pants, I order, earning another eyebrow raise in return. What? Are you serious? You know I was only making a joke, right? He asks, his face a mixture of hope and confusion. You want me to blow you, don't you? I say seductively, turning his joke right back around on him. I can't tell if you're being serious or not. Gray narrows his eyes at me suspiciously. It's messing with my head. I'm being totally serious. I step towards him slowly. I need you to take off your pants. You don't have much time, he says, testing the water. How long do you think it'll take? I ask innocently. How long do you think it'll take? He shoots back at me. To dry your pants with the hand dryer, about 2 minutes, I say finally, my tone laced with amusement. Gray looks between me and the hand dryers, finally realizing what I meant all along. Oh. He heads into the nearest stall, and when he hangs his pants over the top of the stall, I grab them and head towards the hand dryer, holding them beneath the warm air. It takes a few minutes to work, but before long, the wet patch on the front of his pants is starting to dry. Another man enters the bathroom and stares at me in confusion. I can't help but give him a wry smile. This be an issue if building just had unisex bathrooms. Awkwardly, I try my best to ignore anyone inside the bathroom. When the pants are finally dry, I toss his pants back over to him. Here, it's dry, I say. There's some muffled sounds coming from the stall before it opens and out walks Gray, pants dry and all. Technically, when our friends asked what took us so long, you could tell them you were busy blowing me. I snort out loud. I'd love to see Sarah's reaction if I did that. The lights are already dimmed by the time we take our seats again, and the movie has started playing. What are you guys? What were you guys doing that took you so long? Sarah whispers at me as she nudges my arm. Nothing, I whisper back in return, though the smile on my face is far from innocent. I catch Gray's eyes again, and this time he smiles and shakes his head at me in amusement. The tension between us has definitely melted somewhat, and I couldn't be more grateful for that. I hope it lasts. I look over at Sarah and Judd, at the way they're holding hands, how easily they laugh with each other. As far as I know, Sarah hasn't told him she was part of the gang that rivaled his in high school, and the two of them seem to be getting along just fine. It seems to me that even if Judd knew he likes Sarah too much to care about it, but it's different for them. Neither of them was the leader of their gang like Gray and I were, and neither of them did anything as horrible as getting the other one expelled from school. I drum my fingers anxiously against the armrest between Sarah and me. When I tell Gray, will he hate me? I suppose he'd have good reason to, first for what I did, and second for letting him get so close to me unknowingly. A pit forms in my stomach as I imagine his reaction, the pain and anger he'll surely feel. Even so, I have to be honest with him. He deserves to know the truth and to decide for himself how he feels about me afterwards. The movie finally ends and we exit the cinema with Sarah reenacting her favorite parts and making us laugh. We step outside into the cool night air, the crowd around us quickly dispersing. I pull my jacket tighter around myself to ward off the bite of the cold wind. Wondering what the time is, I dig into my handbag for my phone. I should probably get home before it gets too late, but I still want to try to talk to Gray again before I do. I frown, digging deeper into my bag. I swear my phone was in here. In a panic, I open my bag in front of me and search desperately through the contents. Everything okay? Sarah asks, stepping up beside me. Yeah, I trail off. Maybe it fell out of my bag in the theater. I'll be right back, I say quickly, hurrying back into the building. I tell the usher I've lost my phone, and he gets me back into the empty theater without a problem, telling me I've got a few minutes before they start cleaning it for the next session. Rushing down the aisle, I look for my seat. Which one was it? Again, I go row by row, glancing over the seats to see if my phone is sitting on any of them, but I don't have any luck. The lighting is terrible in here, and I was so distracted while we were watching the movie that I didn't pay any attention to how far up back we were sitting. When I reached the final row, I growled beneath my breath, turning with a frustrated stomp. Then I startle when I notice I'm not alone. Lose something? I find Gray pacing the aisle towards me, his hands in his pockets and his eyebrows raised. Yeah, I think my phone might have fallen out of my bag, and I can't remember what seat I was sitting in, I confessed, feeling like a forgetful idiot. He nods slowly and then points to a row near the middle. It was this one. Should I call you? You can try, but I put it on silent for the movie, I say with a sigh. Gray takes out his own phone and dials mine. With Gray's help, I find the seat I was sitting in, but to my annoyance, my phone isn't there. Ducking down, I search the ground around the area. The floor is littered with popcorn and candy wrappers and something sticky and gross that touches my hand. I feel rather silly crawling around on my hands and knees, but I'm desperate to find my phone. It feels weird to be so dependent on something so small, but I honestly don't know how I'd live without it. And then finally I see it. A couple of seats over my phone lays on the floor, the screen lighting up the bottom of the chair. I reach out for it and glance at the screen, seeing Gray's name flashing across it. How many times had I hoped to see him calling, and now that he is, it's only to help me find the phone that I stupidly lost. Thanks, I say as I straighten up and brush myself off, watching Gray tuck his phone back into his pocket. No problem, he says. After turning the sound back on, I stash my own phone in the pocket of my coat, keeping it close this time. There are a couple of awkward seconds that pass before I speak again. Can we talk? I finally ask. Yeah, okay. I let out a sigh of relief, but now that he said yes, I don't really know what to say. All I know is that I don't want it to turn into another argument. I hate fighting with you, I say with a sigh. I just want us to be friends again. I don't know, he says quietly as he looks towards the darkened screen, all amusement from earlier disappearing. I'm not sure I can. My heart drops in my chest. He doesn't mean that. He can't mean that. That really sucks, Gray. The last thing I want is to lose you. Is it? 'Cause you sure don't act like it, he scoffs, flipping his switch in an instant. My phone rings in my pocket, vibrating against my side. I ignore it, raising my hands in front of me. I'm trying to do what I think is best, truly, and I appreciate how patient you've been with me, I plead. So what happened the other night is how you repay the favor, he drawls, and I shiver at the coldness in his voice. When you rejected me? I was scared, I confess, thinking I might as well tell him that much. That much, I know. Why were you scared? He asks. My phone goes off in my pocket once again, but I don't have time to worry about it. Gray steps closer and my breath sticks in my throat, depriving my lungs. Because I don't think that we should fall for each other right now, I say breathlessly, watching the way Gray's eyebrows dip in the middle. And why is that? It has to do with the secret I'm keeping from you, I reveal, watching his eyes go dark. Then maybe you shouldn't still be hiding it. Gray, I'm not. His jaw clenches tight before he lets out a tired sigh. I just wish you could have more trust in me, Hazel. I know you're scared of the repercussions, but I can handle the truth. Desperately wanting to believe him, I force myself to lock eyes with Gray. I feel the full weight of his emotions. I can see how much he cares. I have to have faith. I swallow the rising lump in my throat, willing myself to have courage. You're sure I can trust you? I ask cautiously. He nods, not looking away for a second, and takes a step closer to me. I've proven you can rely on me time and time again. I'm here helping you now, aren't I? If I recall correctly, this isn't the first time you've lost it, and I've been the one to help you find it again. Wait, what did he say? For a moment, I can't breathe. I feel like the wind has been knocked out of me. It's not possible. He can't know about me being the former leader of the Academy gang. We wouldn't be standing here like this if he did. My phone starts ringing again. What? Shit, sorry. I pull my phone from my pocket, frustrated by its insistent ringing. I glare at my phone screen about the message whoever is trying to get hold of me, that I'll call them later. When the single word that flashes across the screen seizes my heart in my chest. Emergency. My mind empties. Panic striking through me as all kinds of horrible scenarios run through my head at that one word. I'm sorry, I think Nikki's in trouble. I try to explain as I press his number and hold my phone to my ear. He answers almost instantly, though I can barely hear his voice over the commotion in the background. Nikki, what's going on? I ask in a rush, with Gray looking on in concern. The bar, Angel, please help. It's bad this time. It's really bad. There's the sound of bottle smashing and then a series of furious shouts. I know exactly which bar he's talking about. It's the one we met in, and long time Academy territory. I can't. I'm really sorry, I say, even though my mind is roaring at me to go. Please, Hazel, we don't have anyone else, Nikki begs, sounding so desperate I can barely stand it. I sigh into the receiver, my shoulders slumping in defeat. Okay, fine. I'm on my way. After ending the call, I give Gray an apologetic look. I have to go. Nikki needs help, I say quickly, starting to move past him. He puts a hand on my arm to stop me. What's going on? He asks. Though my instincts are to avoid his questions, I'm starting to get the feeling that he knows more about me than I thought. It's time to shed a little light on the situation. Nikki is in trouble. Some former Riverside High Gang members are still active. and they're hassling some Clanner Academy grads at Wasted, I explained. Gray raises an eyebrow. And he's calling you for help? Why? I shake my head in dismissal. It's a long story. I don't have time to get into it now. Things sound bad. I hesitate. If I say anything more, there's a good chance he'll discover who I was in the past, if he doesn't know already. But unfortunately, I think I've run out of time for a private lengthy conversation. Right now my gang needs me, and the Phantom tagging along could make a difference between victory or defeat. Look, Gray, if you want to come with me and see what I've been keeping secret from you, I won't stop you. It's time you knew the truth. I can practically see the gears turning his head as he eyes me curiously. Count me in, he says, turning towards the exit. Together, we exit the theater in a hurry. We rush out of the cinema and find Sarah and Jed still waiting for us. I'm sensing it was a bad idea to leave you two alone, Sarah says after seeing the look on my face. I shake my head at her. It's Nikki and the Academy gang. They're in trouble. I'm going to help them. I see her give Jed a sidelong glance, her eyes widening as she looks at me again. Are you sure you want to do this? She asks. What choice do I have? She nods, and I know she understands some of how I feel, but she doesn't know the whole story. By doing this, I'm not just risking exposing my entire identity to Gray. I also have Even to contend with. Gray finding out I'm the former leader of the Academy gang is one thing, but if Even tells him it was me who got him arrested that night of the fight, he'll never speak to me again. Okay, I'm with you, Sarah says, smiling weakly. The four of us jump in a taxi, giving Jet a quick rundown on the situation as we head across town to the bar. When we finally step out of the cab, we find ourselves right in the middle of the scene. Riversiders and Academy members are strewn down the street, facing off against each other. A quick hit count tells me that my old gang are outnumbered 2-1. If the cops haven't showed up yet, they'll most definitely be on the way. Glass litters the pavement. People are screaming and shouting and fighting. This can't go on for much longer. I scan the chaos for Nikki, but when I whip my head to the side, I see he's found me first. Angel, he says out loud as he staggers over, making my stomach churn. Thank God you come.